Hey, it's Lynn Brown. I'm a speaker, trainer, and coach with the John Maxwell team. I spent the first half of my life people pleasing, and then in my spare time, I was trapped or really obsessed with the opinions of other people. But I've committed the rest of my life to equipping, empowering, and accelerating growth in women of all ages. Welcome to the Gritty Women Global Podcast. Today, we're going to take a deep dive, well, more like a 15-minute dive, into how we grow a gritty mindset. Don't y'all remember in about the fourth grade, the teacher would come in with the styrofoam cups and we'd fill them with dirt and plant the butter bean. Then all of our styrofoam cups would stand, or we'd sit them in a row in the window and we would check them every day to see if they were growing. We watered them and we watched and we watered and we watched and we waited. And it didn't happen in a day. And guess what? Growing the garden of our gritty mindset isn't going to happen in a day either. I mean, right now, we can pretty much say that we are products of our very best thinking. I mean, whatever the results are that you're getting in your life, they're basically a result of our very best thinking. But the fact that you're listening to this Gritty Women podcast tells me that you are at least considering. I mean, you are entering into the consideration that maybe there is more for you. So well done, sister. You go, you gritty girl. And let me just remind you this. Let's don't forget, if I can destroy the limiting beliefs that held me back for so long, and I could discover this new gritty way of life, then you can too. I mean, I give you all hope. And more of you are sending me messages and just asking these questions of, how do I get started? You want more. I mean, how can I be a gritty woman? What do I need to start? I mean, sign me up. What do I do? And the great gritty news is this: the fact that you're aware that you want more is the first step, because what you are aware of, you can fix. I mean, truly, for the first half of my life, I really couldn't see the limiting beliefs that were holding me back. I couldn't see it. I was too close to it. I mean, I was truly surviving. I was not thriving. And my thinking was producing my results, and it was pitiful. It was not grittiful thinking. It was pitiful thinking. So there are just so many examples, I think, of gritty women all around us. I wish I had a nickel for every time I'd watched The Wizard of Oz. But I was thinking the other day, I mean, even Dorothy, in the dang Wizard of Oz, of course, when we were younger watching it, we would see her like she was just one in a million. Like, to me, the ultimate gritty girl. But, we're more like her than not like her. I mean, now, honestly, most of us don't talk to 10 men and 10 women, and we don't have to dodge flying monkeys, but we replay messages of self-doubt, and we let fear sneak in to our very best thinking, or we think we're not enough, or we think we're too much, or we're wondering if we can ever even get from where we are to where we want to be. But the day you decide that your gritty mission is more valuable to you than the pity mission that has served you up until now, then your circumstances will change. You got to just trust me. If you don't believe this for yourself right now, just borrow my belief. I promise you, I would not be speaking to you, women all over the world. I would not be speaking to you if it were not the truth. If I had not seen this in my life, it's only going to happen, from the inside out. So yeah, we know that Dorothy, and if you're not familiar with that story, Dorothy was a fictional character. But we can learn from this story. And I'm sure you have stories in your life that you can also learn from. In this particular story, at every turn, Dorothy faced her fears. And, She got gritty. She made choices that moved her in the direction of her dream, of where she wanted to go. I mean, where do you want to go? I think sometimes we first have to know really what it is that we want and who we truly are before we can determine really where we want to go. I think gritty women, we have to embrace the fear of freedom. Gritty women decide the path they want to follow. I mean, isn't that what grown-ups do? But we got to get up, or better yet, we have to grit up. It's not really about how old you are. I mean, Dorothy was 13, so it doesn't matter if you're 13 or 113. You have to decide. It's a choice. A choice so many women, and a lot of men for that matter, never make. We got to stop waiting for the help to come. We have to get up. And I do love that quote from The Wizard of Oz, about Dorothy. And it was basically, it was that she had the power all along. She had what she needed inside of her. She just had to learn it for herself. And that's what I had to do. And I believe we all have to grow and learn daily for the rest of our lives. We got to learn these things. So we just grab some grit, grab your coffee, grab your red slippers, whatever it takes. We got this. We got this, guys. We can do this. I love lions. I think they're amazing creatures. They're beautiful. They're strong. They're brave. And the male lions, they're pretty intimidating. I mean, I think their roar can be heard like maybe something like 5 or 6 miles away. But it's kind of interesting too, because the lions, they go ahead. The male lions go ahead, and they have these outrageous roars that scare the prey, and so it drives the prey back. They run from the sound of the roar. But what they don't know is the gritty lioness, the gritty woman lion, she's back in the thicket or the brush, and she's waiting. So the roar drives the prey to run away, but right into the path of the real threat. So they run because of emotion. They run right into danger. And I know I'll speak for myself. There have been so many times in my life that I've gotten caught up in emotion. And maybe you haven't, but I will tell you that I have before. And I just lived out of, from emotional event to an emotional event. And oftentimes that ran me into a more intense emotional event. So when we run from what scares us, we sometimes move closer to the danger. So you know what? We need to run toward the roar. I mean, guys, you were built for this. One of my mentors, Chris Robinson, he has instilled that in us, that we are built for this. We were created for this moment. And a man much smarter than me, my creator, the one I choose to serve, he said, we were created for such a time as this. And I believe it's so true. I think there's never been a time in my life, I'll speak for myself, that I see that I need to blaze a trail, for my life, but also not only for my freedom, but that someone might see that glimmer of hope in me, the way I'm living my life, that somebody might see that hope for them, and that they too would find their freedom that is ultimately, from above, from our Father in heaven. So maybe, you're wondering if you run toward it, could you ever find love again, or even find love for the first time? Or maybe you're wondering if you could lose the weight, and how would you be, and how would people, receive you? Maybe you want to give your heart to Jesus. Maybe you want to change jobs. Maybe you want to ask for a promotion. Maybe you want to face grief that you have buried for so long. Forgive your father. Maybe you want to let go of abuse. Maybe you want to let go of shame. Forgive yourself. I don't know what your thing is, what your it is. But God calls us to places, honestly, that scare the crap out of us sometimes, so that our only choice is to trust Him. And I've been there more times than, more times than not. But I want to tell you this, my gritty sisters. To live the life that He's designed for us to live requires us to run toward the fears, run toward the roars. I mean, the lions, the tigers, the bears, you fill in the blank. Whatever the it is, we have to run toward it. We have to run towards it. I mean, David ran toward Goliath. He had to slay him. He had to run toward him towards him in order to slay him. But what about you? I mean, what do you want to slay in your life? Limiting beliefs, small thinking, playing small? I mean, what in your life are you being called to right now? I mean, David ran toward the thing that terrified him the most. Maybe starting your own business is terrifying you. Maybe losing weight is terrifying you. One time I had a friend that said, "You know what? I'm scared to lose the weight because I don't know how people will respond to me if I do." Maybe you want to go back to school, or maybe, you know what? Maybe you want to leave college and follow the call on your life that you feel like, is created for you to do right now. Maybe you want to volunteer at a nonprofit. But don't let the fear stop you. You can run from the fear for the rest of your life, but remember this, there's going to be something hiding, in the brush, like the female lioness. So don't let fear destroy your dream. And even more than that, don't let it take your freedom. It's time to get gritty, to grit up. Yes, what we say, gritty is the new pretty, but gritty is the new strong. Gritty is the kind of faith that moves mountains. So join our movement. There's so many exciting things coming. The details are coming soon about our Think and Grow Gritty mindset mentoring. It's a 90-day program that'll be coming out really soon. So stay tuned for that. But just remember, girls, we have to get gritty. We've got a world to change. It's more than just about us. We've got a world to change. And there's some woman, there's some young girl, there's someone is waiting, to hear your story that is just designed especially for you to share, that nobody else can do it. I mean, there's some people that will not be impacted by my story. They're waiting to hear your story, and your story matters. So I just want to encourage you, today to think into what that thing is, the thing that you want to not run away from anymore, that you want to embrace, that you want to face, so that you can walk in to the purpose and the call and the mission of your life. I'm super excited about what's happening. We have some great, amazing women that are going to be guests on our show coming up soon. We've had some amazing guests already on the show. So I just want to encourage you. I'm going to ask you. I'm finally brave enough to ask that I would just ask you to share this podcast with your friends. If somebody just, pops into your mind and your heart, share it with them. We need to get the message out, and we need to join together and become the amazing, unstoppable, bulletproof women that we were designed to be. Y'all remember, I love you. I believe in you. And I look forward to seeing you next week. So let's go find some grit. Take care. Bye-bye.